Hey, it's Courier Girl, and I want to talk about contracts. So, as an independent courier, a company may ask you to sign a contract with them. I would read the contract carefully before you sign it. Take it home with you and read it over. Ask that it be emailed ahead of time so you can read it over. Um, I would make a copy of it and mark it all up with questions or have a separate question sheet before I signed it, because you want to make sure that you understand everything up front. A lot of people will just sign without reading. And that comes from the whole agreement thing, like when you download an app or when you get a credit card or when you go to a website, or sign up for an account at a social media site. You have to accept the agreement, which is always a million pages long, before they'll let you on their site. So people just get used to going accept, they don't really read it, they don't really think about it. And for the most part, it doesn't really affect people. But when you are doing a contract for a job, it could affect you a lot more because you may not get paid for this, or there may be a dispute, and you go back and you're looking at your contract and you're like, oh, it was in the contract and I didn't really read that. So very important to read the contract carefully. If there's anything that you don't understand, highlight it, circle it, mark it somehow, and ask about it and make sure you understand it. And if there's something you really disagree with, you can ask for that to be changed. Now, it doesn't mean they will change it. Part of it depends on how much they need drivers. And a lot of these companies, especially smaller companies, they got some contract off the internet somewhere, or they used one that they had from an old employer before they got in the courier business or something like that. So a lot of them aren't really like thought through as well as they could be. So if you find something that doesn't make sense, or that you're like, I can't agree to this, then talk to them about it and see if that sentence can be either crossed out or modified or something like that. It's not all written in stone. Now, larger national companies, theirs kind of are written in stone. They'll just be like, next, they're not going to hire you. And that makes sense. They can't have thousands of drivers all with different contracts. So I understand why they do that. But for your own protection, read it. If you don't understand it, ask. If you still don't understand it, run it by somebody else. Maybe even if it's a really big contract, maybe even run it by an attorney and just make sure that everything looks cool. And then you will have your eyes open when you go into that job, and there won't be any surprises. And there might be times when the company itself doesn't live up to the contract, and you can go back and say, hey, look, this is what we agreed to. It's right here in writing. So it can protect you, but also make you aware of what exactly the deal is. All right, so I just wanted to talk about that. Also, if they say they're going to pay a certain way, I ask for that in writing as well. If I'm working for a company where I'm doing a different job every day, that's a little bit harder to do. But if you're signing on to do a specific route, I usually ask for something in writing that says, this is the expectations of the route, this is how much it pays, because I don't want them later to come back and say, well, I don't want to be surprised on my first paycheck when I thought I was getting this much and then I only get that much. And then I can't say, look, this is what you said. Now, sometimes just a series of emails back and forth is enough to put that in writing, or a series of texts back and forth. Make sure you keep screenshots of those conversations. But I actually like to have both of us sign a paper saying I'm agreeing to do this particular job for this particular amount of money. Now, again, not if you're doing different jobs every day, but if you have like a same route that you're doing Monday to Friday or whatever, and you're signing on to do that route, that's when that extra paper is something that I think is important. Okay, that's it. Read the contract before you sign, ask questions, and I will see you on the road.